I don't know how to describe what they did to this person's asshole. They put a bowl in it.
A bowl in the apple?
It was like a anal plug with a funnel attached to it. They were jerking off into the funnel. Then the cum was going into her ass.
They were rolling grapes into cum. All of our faces were like...
It's one of those moments that I have like engraved in my memory, like Kazumi's birthday party 2 years ago, and I think you were lighting your vagina on fire.
That actually is why my YouTube was deleted, because I posted it.
I think that's the first thing they say. No pussy's on fire.
Does anyone here feel that what they're doing right now is derailing them from being with the person they're supposed to be with in the end and the life that they're supposed to end up with?
It reminds me of people who say, hey man, why can't I just have like a deathbed confession? You know, I live it up, man. I go to Vegas. I do all sorts of crazy stuff. And on my deathbed, which I may or may not get, I'll just convert and then I go to heaven. That'll be really great, right? And look, maybe. But really what happens is people tend to just keep going down the roads that they're on, and the habits that they cultivate become the habits that define their lives, whether it's virtue or vice. And I just think if you believe you're going to keep doing this, and then one day at 34 and a half, you're going to wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to do something totally different now and get Mr. Right, who's not addicted to porn, and get 2 kids and millions of dollars. I just think that's very, very unlikely.
I think it's more likely that all of us are going to find like some hot rich guy to marry and take care of us than to like be single for the rest of our lives.
Personally, I think you're a f***ing idiot.
Would you date a girl who's on OnlyFans?
No. But I respect the hustle though. But couldn't be for, that's not me, but I respect the hustle.
What if she was on OnlyFans after her dad was hospitalized and she has to pay the hospital bills?
I don't know, am I already in a relationship with this woman?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's tough.
He's in the hospital.
He's in the hospital? We got healthcare though, you know what I mean? We're in Canada. Is he not fine?
No, but
if we were in America, I have a different story, man.
Okay, you're in America.
Bitch, please.
Welcome to Revoke the Vote. I'm your host, Paradox. Now, in this series, I make the case that because modern women are pathologically immature, adult children who've never grown up, all of the rights that are granted to adults in a free country should be revoked from them, because as adult children, they are irresponsible, irrational, overly emotional, and self-absorbed to the point of narcissism. And today we're going to look at a particular childish aspect of both children and modern women, which is wanting to have your cake and eat it too. Children are unable to make sacrifices and hard choices because they're children. Modern women, like children, are unable to make sacrifices and hard choices. So, adults, men and traditional women who are adults, recognize that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to make trade-offs, compromises, hard choices and sacrifices. You can't be a professional footballer and a professional tennis player. You can't be a rock star and a politician. You have to choose. That's what adults understand. Now, as these OnlyFans girls have just demonstrated, they believe that you can choose to be a whore. You can choose to take advantage of the fact that when you're young and hot as a woman, men will either fund your lifestyle through OnlyFans or pay you to perform in porn or fly you out onto yachts so you can live to Dubai to be pooed on, or basically fly you out to their yachts. Rich men will basically fund an extravagant lifestyle that you can show off and about on Instagram. You can meet famous people, you can get banged by famous men. That's the privilege of being a hot young woman, is that you can live for free basically, because men that want to sleep with you will pay for your lifestyle. Now, if women want to take advantage of that, they can. However, once you make that decision, you no longer qualify to be wifed up by the type of man that you would want to be wifed up by. Now, it's not to say that there won't be men that will marry a whore, but those men are the men you don't want. They are simps, cucks, betas, who are so desperate for a woman that they will just ignore the fact that you're a whore. Some of these OnlyFans girls and ex-corn actresses have got married and have got kids. Then you see the husband and you realise, oh, he's a simp. He's a desperate beta that she wanted children that bad that she settled down with him. He thinks he's got himself, the most beautiful woman in the world. All his dreams have come true. A few years down the line, he's going to get divorced. She's richer than him, so it's not like he's going to lose half his money, but he'll lose his access to his kids, that's for sure. And if she's not already sleeping with Chads and cheating on him, she will do, because you can't turn a whore into a housewife. That is a very old saying, but it's actually based on biology, because once a woman sleeps with more than a few men, she loses the ability to pair bond. The oxytocin, which is released during sexual intercourse, which is meant to help her bond with a man and help her imprint upon one man, that happens a few times with different men, and it just fucks the woman's body up. She's imprinted on multiple men now, and she can't imprint on one man or bond with one man. So that's one reason you can't turn a whore into a housewife. The second reason is people don't understand what happens when you take in and ingest sperm from multiple men. As I've said many times before, women are built they can only get pregnant by one man at a time. So literally they get pregnant, 9 months they're pregnant, and then for the next few years, when they have an infant, they're not thinking of getting pregnant again by different men. So it's not natural for women to sleep with multiple men, whereas a man can impregnate dozens of women at the same time. So it's more natural for a man to spread his seed than it is for a woman to spread her legs for multiple men, even though in our culture with feminism and the pill, women are the same as men. Women can do whatever men can do. Women can be sluts. Women can be promiscuous. It's fine. It's only patriarchy that says it's wrong. No, it's biology that says it's wrong. It's evolution that says it's wrong. It's tens of thousands of years of humans living together and reproducing that says it's wrong. So the other reason is the trauma. When a woman takes in, and I mean this, when a woman takes in sperm from a man, that sperm that isn't used to fertilize an egg goes into the soft tissues. It goes up to her brain. It affects her psychology and her emotions. And if she takes in sperm from multiple men, do you know what happens? Have you ever seen a kind of crazy woman? Like a porn actress, an older porn actress, or an older prostitute, or just an older woman who slept with a lot of men? They're crazy because, number one, they've been traumatized by being pumped and dumped by so many different men, because none of the men will marry and settle down and love and care for a whore. They found that out the hard way. Plus, they've taken in so much different sperm that's gone into their soft tissues, it's kind of driven them crazy. This is a real thing. People never think about this. It's not just an energetic and emotional bond when a woman sleeps with a man. It's a biological bond. The sperm stays in your body. It's meant to imprint you on one man, just as the oxytocin is. And when you sleep with too many men, you just look at Karens. What do you think a Karen is? A Karen, you don't get male Karens because men are not imprinted on when they have sex. Women are. And when a woman has too many sexual partners, one way or another, she'll go crazy. That's why there are so many crazy women and in comparison, so few crazy men. So even though this last woman completely ignores reality and just decides that because she's an adult child and suffers from magical thinking, where just because she wants things to be a certain way, just because she wishes to be wifed up by a high value man, she's not going to listen to any logic, reason, evidence, history, biology. She's not going to listen to anything. She's a child. So she's just going to believe in Father Christmas because she wants to believe in Father Christmas. I'm going to get we're all going to get high value men. I don't care what you say. But you're not. By the time you hit 30 and you want to settle down and you want to stop being a whore, you will be traumatized, probably get on your way to being an alcoholic, to numb the pain of sleeping with so many men that don't care for you and don't love you, filled with semen and sperm from multiple men that have gone into your brain and driven you crazy. That's the actual reality of your choice, because you can't have your cake and eat it too. Moving on.
By working your job, you dehumanize all women and make us all be seen as purchasable commodities by men. No, I don't. No, I don't. Sex workers are not buffers for polite society. They're not buffers for violent men. When you sit there and blame the entitlement and objectification and violence that men do onto women, when you blame sex workers for that violence, you're victim blaming. And I'm not going to play good woman, bad woman dichotomy with swerfs and radfems in my comment section, especially not when it literally gets sex workers killed. But hey, protect women, right, guys? Unless you don't agree with the ways in which they try to fucking survive poverty.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
The violence that I face at work is not a metaphor for the violence that civilian women face on a daily basis. What the fuck are you talking about?
Agreed.
It's even more sick when rhetoric like this prevents me from getting justice and recourse at work when I am her. Y'all are craisins. The fact that y'all want to sit there and exclude sex workers out of your leftist and feminist movements until you can co-opt the violence that we face at work to further stigmatize and criminalize industry while victimizing yourself? I have a voice. I'm not a stand-in for your goofy, funny feelings or your unpacked trauma. Go figure it the fuck out. I deserve human rights. I deserve justice and recourse. You do not know better than the people struggling to work safely within a stigmatized, criminalized industry. I deserve to come home safe. Destigmatize, decriminalize, and decarcerate. Get this shit out of here.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
I actually agree with her on her main point, which is that sex workers aren't to blame for male violence towards women in general and for the objectification of women. Men are to blame for sexual violence towards women. It doesn't matter what women wear or if they go drinking, or there's no excuse. Basically, it's always the man's fault. Sexual violence is always men's fault, period. So I totally agree with that. And any feminists and women who blame male sexual violence on sex workers are hypocrites and wrong. So she's absolutely right about that. In terms of the objectification of women, prior to the 60s and women becoming whores, then yeah, it was men objectifying women. But since the 60s, and since women became whores and took the pill and started sleeping around, and porn became a thing, there would be no porn if it wasn't for women. If women didn't engage in porn, there'd be no porn. So porn is on women, just as hookup culture is on women. Women control access to sex, simple as that. And they did that prior to feminism in the 60s and the pill, and it meant that if a man wanted to have sex with a woman, he would have to commit to her first by marriage. That's when women were sane, and they understood men, and they understood their value, and they respected themselves, and they didn't just open their legs for any hot Chad or bad boy. They made sure the guy committed to them before they opened their legs, because they knew that was their greatest value, their purity, their innocence, and them not being used up. Since that time, women have been objectifying themselves, because now they have sexual freedom, sexual liberation, so now they've been chasing the hedonistic pleasure of having exciting sex with different men in different places, you know, with rich men, famous men, athletes, all the men that they didn't have access to before. Women just went out and got it. And in the age of Instagram and TikTok, women are the ones objectifying themselves. It's nothing to do with men anymore. So I agree with her on that. Feminists and women should not blame sex workers for the objectification of women or male violence. 100% agree with her. Where I disagree with her, where she's trying to have her cake and eat it too, is when she goes on about sex work being stigmatized and criminalized and says it should all be open and free. This is where you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. And the reason I use that meme of "I fear the lady doth protest too much," her anger that is seemingly directed towards other women that are basically having a go at her is actually at herself. because, oh yeah, and saying that women go into sex work because of poverty. That's like saying that people become hitmen and drug dealers because of poverty. Not everyone who's poor becomes a criminal, and not every woman who's poor becomes a whore. So that's no fucking excuse. And that actually gives away my main point, is that you think that you became a whore because you were poor. Bullshit. You made a choice. You made a choice to have your cake, the whore cake, and now you're trying to eat it too. When you made the decision to go into sex work, you already know that it's stigmatized for very good reason. For the reasons I've mentioned before, is that women are not meant to sleep with loads of men. It fucks you up. It traumatizes you. It ruins you, and it ruins your life. So it's your decision if you want to ruin your life. You can't go into sex work and then moan about it being stigmatized afterwards, and moan about it being criminalized, and moan about the violence in there. You made that choice. It's on you. But because you're a woman, and because you are pathologically unable to take accountability for your stupid choices, your self-destructive choices, like becoming a a prostitute, because you're unable to take accountability, once you realize what you've done, oh my God, I'm now part of a stigmatized group. No decent man that I want will ever want to settle down with me. The whole of society stigmatizes me, and my job is dangerous. I put myself in dangerous positions for sexual violence and exploitation. If you were a man, you would say, fuck, I made a massive mistake. What was I thinking? I should never have done this. That would be accountability. But because you're not a man, and because you're a woman, a modern woman, you are unable to take accountability, pathologically unable to take accountability. So what do? You project responsibility for your poor choices onto society. Society is wrong for stigmatizing prostitution. Society is wrong for criminalizing prostitution. Society is wrong for looking down their noses at you and judging and condemning you. Society is wrong. That is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You went into that industry either because you're just one of those girls that love sex and figured, if I'm going to have sex, I might as well have sex with men who are good at sex, and I might as well get paid for it. Either you did that, or you decided that, hey, I just think it's a good way to make money. You were greedy. You may well have been poor, but that doesn't mean you have to choose prostitution. There have been millions of poor women that haven't become prostitutes. That was your choice. So you chose to become a prostitute, and now that you're experiencing the consequences of that stupid decision, and now that you are, and because you're a woman, you can't take accountability, you can't take responsibility, you can't own it, you have to project blame onto something outside of you, namely the world, other feminists, men, anything but you. That's all that's going on there. And that is another example of women want to have their cake and eat it too, and you can't. You can't choose to become a prostitute and then complain that prostitution is stigmatized. You moron. Moving on.
Surefire way to push a sex worker away, specifically like, you know, the ones of us that like do content and shit, like, and like we're just like newly talking and shit, and then you're like, oh, we should do content together. You lose.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
You lose. I don't want to talk to you anymore after that.
Bye, bitch.
Alright, so I've just found out that apparently the reason why men can't date me.
What is it?
You know, they say they're my friends, they respect me, they care for me so much. They say I'm like the ideal woman, they talk me up, they say I'm a great mother, I'm great this, I'm the best, and they really like me and they really like who I am. I'm a caring person, I wear my heart on my sleeve, like nothing but good things, but they say, I can't be with you because of your history and your past.
Oh, there's a big surprise! That's an incredible. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack and die from that surprise.
Bitch, what? We all have a past and we all have a history.
That's not the point.
The only difference is I fucking filmed mine.
I feel like to puke.
Mine's on camera. Does that make me not dateable?
Yes.
Seriously, yes or no?
Yes. Nasty bitch.
You'll always be a whore.
That's the way you want to put it.
Well, I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is.
I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. I also forget to add that they want to sleep with me, they want to, with me. So let's put all that together, shall we? Look, we all have a past, right? And if you want to use that past and not be able to give me an opportunity or whatever because of my past.
You're goddamn right.
Because it's accessible for you and your mates to see.
That's not the point.
And that's a you problem, not a me problem.
And an absolutely classic modern woman accountability dodge there. First of all, create a straw man argument that you can argue against because you can't argue against the actual reason that these men say you're undateable. You're creating the straw man that it's because them and their mates can see you so that you can say that's a you problem, not a me problem. But the reason then you're not dateable to them is because you're a whore, is because you can't pair bond, because you're full of other men's sperm that makes you a hot, crazy mess, and they cannot trust you to be loyal. The odds of being cheated on, there's been studies to show this. The more men a woman has slept with, the higher the odds that if he marries that woman, she'll divorce him. So these men have standards. They're not stupid. They're not morons. A woman who has so little self-respect that she whores herself out is not dateable. Not for long-term relationship. Situationship, friends with benefits, hookup. Absolutely. If you're hot, if you're sexy, men will definitely want to have sex with you. But whereas women are the gatekeepers of sex, men are the gatekeepers of relationship and marriage. And that is your problem. That is the problem of every woman that's whored themselves out. They think they have all the power because they decide who they have sex with. They don't realize that when it comes to relationships, men have all the power, and men don't think like you do. Men care about your body count. Men care about your purity. Men care about your value. Men care about your loyalty. Men care about your ability to pair bond. And so you discover that you thought you could have your cake and eat it too, but actually, if you whore yourself out, you end up not having the cake at all and not being able to eat it. And so, because of that level of stupidity and the inability to understand the consequences of your own behavior, we need to revoke the vote.
I'm sorry, I'm crazy, but crazy is what I do. If you got screwed over like me, then you'd be crazy too. Try me if you want to.
Absolutely fucking not.
But I'm a real crazy bitch. Keep it up and soon you'll see when I fuck up your shit.
Cause I got a medium-sized waist, very pretty face, and an okay bang, and a lot of mental health issues.
Agreed.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
This is unbelievable. I am suing my psychiatrist. He had the audacity to prescribe me knitting for my anxiety. Knitting? Are you kidding me? It's like this ancient pro-patriarchal stereotype that I'm not going to stand for it. I'm standing against the status quo, and we deserve better mental health care. And now I got to go to freaking Dollar Tree to get a freaking ball of yarn because he wants to see what I knit this week.
She's fit for a straitjacket. This broad's fucked 3 ways towards the weekend.
I'm back, bitches. And I don't want to hear I'm acting different.
Oh, you crazy.
Here are my red flags with men. Number 1, golf. Self-explanatory. Number 2, blonde.
What?
Self-explanatory. Number 3, Christian.
What a fucking nightmare.
Self-explanatory. Number 4, likes America. Self-explanatory. Number 5, doesn't support bimbos. Self-explanatory. Number 6, Nike. Self-explanatory. Number 9 is a man. Self-explanatory. Thanks.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
My chalky milk.
Don't you touch my jockey milk.
It's my chalky milk.
I paid the
Welcome to Revoke the Vote, where I make the case that because modern women are pathologically immature, children in adult bodies who've never grown up, they do not deserve to have the rights granted to adults in a free country. Now, today we're going to look at one particular aspect of modern women's childishness, which is caused by the halo effect or pretty privilege. This is where we tend to assume that a pretty woman or a good-looking woman, because she's pretty and good-looking, is also likely to be kind, intelligent, and sociable. And what this has caused is that we have allowed, enabled, and normalized absolutely insane, crazy female behavior. The type of behavior that if a man did it, he could be ostracized, imprisoned, committed to a mental institution, badly beaten up, and in some cases killed. But women, on a daily basis, women are able to behave in these ways with zero consequences, absolutely zero consequences. And I'm going to show you plenty of evidence of that. And the effect of doing this is similar to the effect you would get if you gave your 6-year-old son a loaded gun and sent him down to the mall to play. That's what we've done by empowering pathologically immature adult infants to behave in some cases borderline evil ways and have no consequences. So they are never held accountable, they're never punished, and therefore the behavior just gets worse and worse and worse. And literally, and I really mean this, I've said in many of my videos that feminism was the Trojan horse that the powers that be used to subvert and bring down Western civilization in America so that they could install, the Great Reset, 1984, etc., totalitarian dystopian nightmare. And I really mean that. And when I see what feminism and the pill has done to women, who are the women pass on culture. It's women who teach children right and wrong. So if you corrupt women, if you corrupt the minds and behavior of women, you literally corrupt the next generation. And that's exactly what's happening. Look at Gen Z, just look at them. Trans, queer, CRT, anti-racist, fat acceptance, all of this nonsense, insane nonsense, almost all of Gen Z believe in it and support it because their mothers passed it on to them. And when you see the behavior that I'm talking about, it really does signal the end of Western civilization and the end of the world as we know it. And I know I kind of joke about, because you have to. And even though I'm calling for us to revoke the vote, it's actually already too late. Even if we did take all of modern women's rights away, leaving good traditional women to have their rights, it's too late. As far as I'm concerned, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if you think that revoking the vote could actually reverse the fall of Western civilization. Moving on.
Things in the psych ward that just make sense. Hang-proof doorknobs. Toilet paper in a hole in the wall. Fuck you graffiti. Happy yellow grippy socks. Wearing these cool paper pants. Slimy tuna sandwiches. Suffocation-proof bed sheets. Spy mirrors. Locked windows. No strings in my hoodie.
Wow, didn't know you can have a phone in a psych ward. I guess they have to make it more appealing to modern women, since they can't live without the internet. The West used to have nutter houses all over the place, but they closed down and now the cooks are either homeless in the major cities or feminists in schools indoctrinating your kids.
I just made pronoun bracelets, and I would like to explain them. This one stands for he, him, so green and blue, more masculine colors, I guess. This one stands for she, her, so pink and purple, more feminine color. And then this one stands for they, them, and it's yellow and orange, which are like gender-neutral colors. When I wear this one, it means that I just go by they, them. When I wear these two together, it means I go by she, them. When I wear these together, it means I go by he, them. When I wear all of them, it means that I go by all pronouns. And when I wear these together, it means that I go by she, him. I'm gonna wear them all right now because I go by all pronouns right now. My pronoun, preference has changed 3 times today. This does not happen very often with me, but I'm wearing all 3 right now.
Can you imagine living in a body where you didn't do whatever you wanted to do to it when it doesn't affect anyone else? We're not supposed to look, a certain way. We can look however we want. It doesn't affect anyone. No one's ruining themselves by doing something that's against the norm,
Right.
POV, you went to the thrift store alone today and you have really bad anxiety. So you wore your headphones because it makes you feel better going places alone. Except in between songs, you heard these people talking shit about you because they thought you couldn't hear them. So you pause your music and they continue talking shit about you until you walk away almost in tears.
Oh, but baby.
You hate crying in public and you never cry in public.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
But this time, you can't help it. The waterworks just start.
Note the lack of surprise.
So you have to hide in between the shoe aisles so that nobody says, hey, why are you crying in public? Because these people just reaffirmed your fear that whether people know you or not, they're not gonna like you. And
oh my God, stop talking.
They're probably gonna talk shit about you. This is your sign to just be nice to people because you don't know what they're going through and maybe they're really anxious and maybe they gained a few pounds and they're just trying to buy some new pants.
Are you alright? What's wrong?
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened.
Now, those last few clips were examples of what I call funny crazy and sad crazy. Those young women were all kind of just a bit sad and a bit funny. You know, you can easily laugh at that particular level of crazy. And that kind of crazy, the only real consequence of that is on the woman. It's basically going to ruin her life. She's not going to have a good life with that level of mental health or lack of it. But the type of crazy that is really concerning is the type of crazy where it has an effect on other people. Most often, their boyfriends, husbands, sons, or children. We're going to look at that type of crazy now. Moving on.
Sometimes the person that you want doesn't deserve you. Say it again. Sometimes the person that you want doesn't deserve you. Now my question is, why do we pick those people? What makes us pick the person that we know subconsciously doesn't deserve our love? Huh? I'm ready to fight myself. What past trauma? What? Which one of you motherfuckers made me like this? Huh? We go for the toxic boys because they're interesting and fun. Why? We don't want stability and true love? My therapist is definitely getting a call later tonight.
Are you not surprised she's crazy by the way she looks? 99% of women who get buzz cuts are unhinged. And apparently, not shocking to anyone, she has an arrest record.
It's cuffing season and all the girls be needing. Need a big boy, I want a big boy, give me a big boy. It's cuffing season and all the girls be needing. Need a big boy, I want a big boy, give me a big boy. It's cuffing season and all the girls be needing. Need a big boy.
For assault. Not surprising. Despite being in her early 20s, she has the emotional damage of a 30-year-old already. With every generation, these women age so much faster. If the body count, entitlement, and lack of accountability wasn't enough to make you go MGTOW, most modern women like her have mental health problems, so you gotta deal with someone that's eventually going to hear voices. It doesn't help that women with mental problems are normalized and covered up by the gynocentric dictatorship. Men realize it's not worth dating them because they feel like a psychiatrist, hearing all their problems. Sex is supposed to bond a couple, especially a woman to man, but there's only so many dicks that women can take before her biology goes haywire, and doesn't know who to become loyal to. That's how women become feral and for the streets. Another thing that turns women crazy is the birth control pills that they take for a decade. When the normal function of the body cleansing itself with periods is stopped, all those toxins are kept in a woman's body, along with the hormonal imbalances that the birth control pills create and the other drug chemicals to counter that. Makes them a walking chemistry set. The average feminist and or modern woman are on more meds than senior citizens, and on top of that is seeing a therapist. These so-called strong and independent women are one setback away from having a mental breakdown. So the last thing you want to do is to set off the hair trigger on the feminist landmine.
That one time a lady beat on my door looking for her boyfriend, but had the wrong door.
Jonathan, I know you were here with a bitch. I know you were here with a bitch. Ma'am, you have the wrong house.
I told you that bitch crazy.
I just got served. My baby daddy's taking me to court. Like a sheriff came to my door and served me with this right here because I didn't let him see the kids. And at this point, I'm just tired because I know it's his little girlfriend, Ashley, that's behind this shit. Because ever since he got with her, he's been filing motion after motion after motion. And I'm here to tell both of you because I know they're watching. Look at what I'm gonna do with this. That. Because one thing is to not like me, and another thing is to try to drag me to court over some false allegations. Y'all really have been trying it. And the only reason why I didn't let the kids go over there is because I know you don't like me. And I'm never gonna allow my kids to be around people who don't like me.
Now, I just want to stop it quickly there to make the point that one of the main reasons I make the videos I make is that I want to help men and women learn to trust your instincts. Because female crazy, let's call it, or modern woman crazy has been so normalized and so many women behave in crazy ways, one of the effects of that is that a man will meet a woman like her and his instincts will be telling him, run, get to the chopper. I might put the meme in because she looks crazy. Just look at her. She's got the crazy eyes, and experienced men know that's a real thing. Crazy-eyed women are fucking crazy and should be avoided like the plague. She is clearly, look at her glasses. She is clearly crazy. You don't even have to hear the content of what she's saying, which is borderline evil, keeping her husband from his children because she thinks they don't like her, and therefore fuck my children seeing their father, fuck my children being brought up by a single mother and therefore being 100 times more likely to have a terrible life. Fuck my children. I'm not having that bitch not like me. I'm not having that bastard not like me. He's not seeing his kid. That is evil. That is evil behavior. And she's obviously crazy. So, gentlemen and ladies, recognize what I'm saying here is that there are millions, if not billions, of crazy modern women in the world. Obviously, there are crazy men as well, but I would say it's something like 10 to 1. For every crazy man, there's 10 crazy women. There are tens of millions, let's say, tens of millions of crazy women. So when you see somebody with crazy eyes, who acts crazy, says crazy things, remember, if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. And she probably is fucking crazy. Do not put your penis into crazy. If you do, especially if it's not covered with something, you get what you deserve. I'm sorry, but if you make a woman who looks like that and acts like that pregnant, you deserve everything you get. Sorry guys, it has to be said.
Because if you don't like me, how can you like my kids? If you don't like me, how can I know that my kids are safe under your care? If you don't like me, how can I trust you with my precious angels that I carried for 9 months and birth? I feel like we could have discussed this over the phone. All I'm doing as a mother is protecting my children from possible harm. Because have y'all not been watching the news? All the weird stuff all these baby daddies' girlfriends be doing to children that they don't like. I'm not putting my kids in danger. And I honestly feel like the judge is going to understand that as a mother, it is my duty to protect my kids above anything and everything. So no, my kids will not be going over there. To all the mamas that have been through this, do y'all think I need a lawyer?
No, bitch, you need an exorcist.
$1.2 million. That's what it's taken for me to defend my boy. Now they're trying to take my boy's genitals and eventually kill him. So this is what happened to him. This is him at 4 years old. His mom, she is a pediatrician in Coppell, Texas. She had my son on her website when it raises money for her. All the while she was complaining that I was posting pictures of him on the internet. So I pointed this out in court. The next day, that's how she put him on the website. Do you know the court did absolutely nothing about this? So at the time, we had a court order which prohibited either one of us from presenting the boy in a way that he wasn't known to third parties. Somebody knew him as a girl, I had to present him as a girl. That's me picking him up. She used to do this stuff to provoke me. She wanted me to be violent. Here he is a little older. She now dresses him up like a drag queen everywhere he goes. He goes to school like this. She's given him a fake name, Luna. Despite the fact that I've told the schools they don't have my consent to do this, I've changed his name. I'm headed toward a federal lawsuit with them, which is going to cost me a lot more money. So I'm going to ask you, if you can't stop this as a father in Texas, do your children really belong to you under the law?
So those last 3 clips were examples of the old saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And this level of crazy is dangerous. And this is why Revoke the Vote is a real thing. Women are notoriously way more malicious and vindictive than men. And these women who are obviously mentally unwell will use their own children to get back at the children's father. How disgusting is that? That you are so bitter so twisted, so malicious, and so vindictive that you will ruin your own child's life to get revenge on your ex-husband. A lot of the time they do it when the ex-husband didn't do anything apart from find a new woman to move on. That's all it takes sometimes. Just be happy without her. This is the real darkness. As I've pointed out before, the reason that women act like this is because they don't love themselves. From a spiritual point of view, I understand that these women are in a lot of pain because only hurt people hurt people. All attack is actually a call for love. It's the wounded person, what we call the wounded child, lashing out in pain and rage and fury and bitterness because it feels so unloved. So I get why they do it. And I would love for them to get some healing. And I'm somebody that's what I do. I help people, men and women, to heal from their emotional pain so that they don't vomit their pain onto the world and other people. But I also know that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can't help anybody that doesn't have a deep and abiding desire to heal. And 99.99% of these women don't want to heal. They think they're right. They feel fully justified in their resentment, their scorned bitterness and hatred. They feel fully justified. They don't think they need to heal. They just want to make sure that their husband suffers. And there are millions of women like that walking around with a vote, with the ability to look after a child. And I'm not having it. We need to withdraw their rights. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious, he says, laughing his head off.
This is the thing about Hinge. Like, this is why it just doesn't work for me. I'm going to be completely honest. It's like, most of these guys that I'm swiping through, it's like, if I saw them at the bar and they bought me maybe one drink and were a little bit funny, would I go home with them? Yes. Here's the thing, though. It's like, when I have to start perceiving them through Hinge and overanalyzing videos of them playing the guitar and their prompt saying I'm overly competitive about everything, it's just like, I'm like, Hallie, you cannot stoop so low to, like, match with them. Like, ew. But it's like, at the same time, if I just met them organically, like, I could be married to them. Who knows?
Buy a dog, die alone.
So, why is this delightful young lady going to die alone? Well, she is stuck in the perfect double bind of the modern woman. On the one hand, she is completely divorced from her biology. Her biology which says, keep your legs closed and only open them when you find a man, the best man you can get, who will also stick around and love and care for you, because when you get pregnant and you have infants, you won't be able to look after yourself and you'll need a man. So that's her biology. But like all modern women, since the pill, since feminism said that women can do anything men can do, including sleeping around, she's divorced herself completely from her biology. So now all it takes for her to open her legs is for Chad or Tyrone or a bad boy to get her juices flowing, arouse her sexually, buy her a drink like she said, and be hot, and she will sleep with him. So she's already ruined. She's already fucked because of that. She's given away her purity and her innocence and her value. She's given it away to multiple men. She's full of competing strands of DNA trying to imprint her. She's already been pumped and dumped enough times that the emotional baggage train has already started choo-choo. She's already ruined. But then on top of that, she happens to be, like all modern women, a pathologically immature 6-year-old girl that has never grown up. And in this case, she kind of reflects the hyper-neurotic brat princess archetype, whereby, as she herself points out, that the same men that she would meet in a bar and hook up with, if she sees their profiles on Hinge, her 6-year-old hyper-neurotic childish brain will basically fault find. Will look through his thing and find an ick. You know the whole ick trend. So the whole ick trend is just childish. It's literally just women being children, finding ridiculous, absurd things to be able to go, ew, you're nasty, you're smelly, don't want to go out with you. Which is a perversion of the woman's natural and proper pickiness and fussiness. The woman is supposed to be picky and fussy. They're supposed to be picky and fussy so that they only choose the best man she can get based on her level, her looks, and also a man that will stick around. So women are supposed to be picky and fussy, but because they're divorced from their biology, the natural picky and fussy has morphed and metastasized into the ick, which is just a childish, absurd, nothing to do with choosing the best man, the best genes, a good man, and purely to do with meeting the impossible standards of a 6-year-old entitled princess brat. And so, because of the entitlement, because of the brattishness, because of the ridiculousness of the icks, she will reject decent men, normal, decent men who do the wrong thing at the wrong time and get the ick. She will reject them whilst at the same time opening her legs for all of the wrong men. So she's in the perfect double bind where she literally cannot help but reject decent men and cannot help but be filled with more DNA and more semen and more baggage and more emotional trauma from the wrong kind of man. Henceforth, she will die alone. Moving on.
If you are a woman and you are in a relationship with a man that has no money and cannot provide for you fully, and I mean everything you need, such as a house, money to live on, and basically everything you need to be provided for as a woman, hair, makeup, shopping, then you are dating the wrong man. You should only date a man who can fully provide for you. And it doesn't matter what you look like as a woman. If you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're ugly, you should only date a man who can fully provide for you. So if you married a man that cannot do that, if you're dating a man that cannot do that, you're doing it wrong.
Buy a dog, die alone.
Now, you don't need me to tell you why she is going to die alone, but I think it will be a fascinating exercise for me to act as a forensic pathologist to break down the absolute insane pathology that causes so many women, single women, to say things as insane as she has just said. So, first of all, it's clearly, everything she said is clearly nonsense. She is the epitome of a number of old school phrases I'm sure you've heard, yeah? So, first of all, single women keep women single. So I'll talk about how she exemplifies that. Another phrase, famous Al Bundy phrase from Married with Children, don't try to understand women. Women understand women and they hate each other. She's the epitome of that as well. And then the third one is, you can like women and you can understand women, but you can't do both. She is the epitome of that as well. So, first of all, she's single, so she's a failure. She has not managed to secure a man that loves and cares for her and is prepared to look after her, regardless of whether it's paying for everything or just going 50-50 like a normal couple. She's a failure, but she feels like she should be in a position to advise other women from her position of failure. And unfortunately, plenty of women will listen to her, and this is how single women keep women single. But why is she giving such terrible advice? Because let's face it, the only women that can genuinely expect to get a man who will literally take care of them completely so that they never have to lift a finger are 9s and 10s. The most beautiful women in the world are the only women that can secure a man rich and successful enough that will fall for her enough to say, okay, I'll take care of everything, just be my wife. You're so beautiful, you're so wonderful. And she will need to be beautiful inside and out as well, because there are plenty of 9s and 10s that are complete bitches, and a rich and successful man is not going to give his life and earnings and half of his wealth to a 9 or a 10 who's a bitch. So the only women that will get what she is saying all women deserve are literally the most beautiful women in the world, both inside and out. So her advice is utterly insane. 99% of women will not and do not deserve a Prince Chad, Prince Charming to come and pay for everything in their life so that they can just be a stay-at-home princess living the life of royalty. So her advice will keep women single, and that's why she's giving it, because she can't get that ridiculous entitled Disney princess dream of a man to take on everything for her, because she keeps meeting men that she wants that from, and they just pump and dump her and ghost her. In her bitter vindictiveness, she wants to make sure no other woman gets it either. Crabs in a bucket. This is why women hate each other, because she's basically said, if I can't have my entitled princess dream of being swept away and taken care of for the rest of my life, so I never have to lift a finger or do anything or grow or be a good person, I just get taken care of because I am superior, I'm a princess, I'm entitled. Because I can't have it, then none of those bitches can have it. That's literally what she was doing. And that explains single women keeping women single. That explains don't try to understand women, because women understand women and they hate each other. She's just hating all other women because she can't get what she wants. And that also explains you can like women and you can understand women, but you can't do both. That is just a horrible person. That woman is a horrible person that is so entitled, her ego is so big, that because she failed to have her fantasy that she is the queen of the world and deserves everything she wants, because that fantasy was not fulfilled, and instead she was fucked and used and abused and dumped, she is full of so much hate and bile and bitterness that she will pose as one of the sisters trying to help other sisters get what they deserve and what they're entitled to by telling them basically don't have a relationship unless you meet a man that will take care of absolutely everything, knowing full well none of them are going to get that. So they will be miserable and single just as she is, and that's the reason she's doing it.
It's an evil world we live in.
The world isn't evil. The evil lies in the hearts of human beings. And it lies in the hearts of certain human beings more often than it does other human beings. And I'll leave you to work out who I mean by that. Moving on.
Your ex does still think about you, whether that's for better or for worse. But every time I do a Q&A, one of the questions I get is, does my ex still think about me? And I can tell you without knowing anything about your specific situation that yes, your ex does still think about you. Even if your ex is still in a new relationship, I can promise they think about you from time to time. And even if your ex moved to the other side of the globe, I can also promise that they still think about you from time to time. And the way I know this is I can guarantee that you still think about every single person you've been in a relationship with, including that person that you were probably with for 3 weeks when you were in junior high. people don't just forget people that they were in relationships with. Now, I know that this may help you in some ways, and I also know that this may hurt in some ways, but just know that you have not been forgotten about. Now, do I think you should do anything with this information? No, I just want to ease some of your fears of being forgotten.
Buy a dog, die alone.
And the way I know this is that I can guarantee that you still think about every single person you've ever been in a relationship with, including the person you were in a relationship for 3 weeks for in junior high.
I mean, the level of childish, ignorant, delusional thinking that causes women to... She's a counselor or something, to both give that kind of moronic advice and to listen to that kind of moronic advice. It boggles my mind. I've got another series called Revoke the Vote, where I say that modern women should not be granted the right to vote or any other adult right given in a free country because they're not adults. Here we have more proof that she has the thinking of a 5-year-old girl whose brain has not developed the ability to put her consciousness in somebody else's shoes. That is the case with children up until the age of 6. If you show a child younger than about 6 a book with a blue cover and a red cover, you show them both sides, both covers, and then you sit down in front of the child and you hold the book in front of you so that the blue cover faces the child and the red cover faces you, and then you say to the child, what color am I seeing? The child will say blue. Absolutely, profoundly self-absorbed and incapable of empathy. That is what a child is. Before the brain develops, a child is so self-absorbed that they cannot step out of themselves to see things from someone else's point of view. That's a child, and it's also a modern woman, and she's just proven that. Just because women are needy, hyperneurotic little children that are filled with hypergamous FOMO and do always think about their exes and are always thinking about hoping that their exes aren't happy without them because they're so vindictive and selfish and constantly worrying, did I let the best man get away? Because women are always thinking about their exes, and because she is incapable of seeing things from a man's point of view, and because she is so self-absorbed, she thinks that the whole world is an extension of herself. She thinks that men are like women, like we sit there thinking about our exes all the time. Like a fucking child, like a little neurotic child. Oh, I wonder what she's doing. I wonder what she's doing. No. For God's sake, these women are insane. Who does she think she is, guaranteeing to women that men think like women think? That men act like women act? That men are as needy and neurotic and childish as women are? Just absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous that these people are allowed to have social media accounts and are allowed to spout this absolute 6-year-old childish nonsense as though it had some iota of sense to it. Moving on.
Let's talk about coffee dates and walks. So I work as a professional dating coach for men, and I'm always going to give you guys the straight truth, no crap. So here's the thing. You can go on coffee dates, you can go on walks, you can go on drink dates, dinner dates, whatever your heart desires. If it's your personal preference, do it. That being said, you are going to turn a lot of women off by suggesting a walk or a coffee date. And no, that does not mean they are all greedy little gold diggers. It just means they don't like going on coffee dates or walks. And it may be because they're old-fashioned. Maybe they hate the taste of coffee. Maybe they are gold diggers. Who knows? And yes, if you hold out long enough, you can find a woman who will mesh just fine with you on a coffee date, if you're willing to hold out. But if you find yourself being turned down for coffee dates, or your coffee dates aren't going well, it might be time to rethink your strategy. You might be closing the door to a lot of potential great women by suggesting coffee dates or walks. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a first date preference. I'm just saying that preference might turn down good potential people.
There is a special place in hell reserved for female dating coaches for men. If you want to catch fish, you don't ask the fucking fish how to catch it. Women don't even know what turns them on until it turns them on. Women have no idea what they want from a man. So a woman cannot tell a man what he needs to do to get a woman, because she doesn't even fucking know. If you are going to get dating advice or learn game, learn it from a man who is not that good looking, but gets plenty of pussy. That is somebody who understands what it takes. And he's probably a natural anyway. He probably naturally knows how to treat 'em mean and keep 'em keen, because that's all it boils down to. Women are easy. Just don't validate them. Don't agree with them. Don't pedestalize them. Don't lead with your wallet. Don't lead with romance. Play hard to get. Be like a Chad. Be like a bad boy. Treat 'em mean and keep 'em keen. That's all you really need to know about women. They are so childlike and at the mercy of their biology and their arousal system, that if you are unpredictable, if you are a mystery, if you frustrate her and don't act like all the other men she's ever met who want to sleep with her, if you don't act like them, she will not be able to help. Her curiosity killed the cat, curiosity killed the pum-pum, the kitty. She will not be able to help but chase after you. So you don't need female dating coaches. And she's just demonstrated exactly why you don't need them. She thinks it's possible for you to put off a good woman, an otherwise good woman, by only going on coffee dates, which shows she doesn't understand what we understand, which is if a woman requires you to spend a certain amount of money by going on a certain type of first date, she is disqualified. She is an entitled modern woman that thinks she is the prize, and therefore you have to jump through hoops to prove yourself to her. Absolutely not. That is a product of modern women's minds being corrupted by feminism. She is not the prize. You are the prize. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. They are the ones who decides who has sex. Men are the gatekeepers of relationship. We are the ones who decide who gets into a long-term relationship and who gets married. Therefore, we are the prize. If a woman wants marriage and children, which ultimately they all want, even if their feminist programming tells them they don't, when their body clocks kick in, they want kids, and no woman in her right mind wants to be a single mother, wants to have to do it on her own. So women need a man to wife them up so that they can have kids and raise a reasonably functional and healthy family. Therefore, the man is the fucking prize, you moron. I'm talking to her. These women, they just don't get it. The man is the prize. And so, all the men that I recommend, if you're going to go out on dates Absolutely go to the park, go on a coffee date. Do not spend any money on a woman on a first date. It is the simplest and easiest way to filter out a modern woman. If she expects more than a coffee or more than a walk in the park, then that tells you I'm not interested. Disqualified. Disqualified. Because a good woman, the type of woman who is an adult, a responsible adult, who can admit her mistakes, say sorry, be accountable, be coachable, be led, can grow with you, and can therefore be a good wife and a good mother, doesn't give a shit about how much the first date costs. She doesn't give a shit. That 1 in 10, 1 in 20 good women, needle in a haystack that you're looking for in the West, she doesn't give a shit how much the first date costs. So never spend money on a woman on the first date. And if she doesn't like it, then you've just filtered out one of the 95% of women who do not deserve you, who are modern women, who are whores, will cheat on you, will abuse you, will lie to you, will have a kid with another man and expect you to raise it, will divorce rape you, will accuse you of grape, will accuse you of molesting her children. Just steer well clear. And there's so many simple filters. If they wear too much makeup, disqualified. If they need you to do more than a coffee date, disqualified. And please, for the love of God, never listen to a woman tell you how to get a woman. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.